If you've got the blues after the excitement of the Cyclocross World Championships, fear not, we have 40 of the Wessex finest specimens on the start line right now, and we are under starters orders, and we are underway, absolutely full whack from the start. Angus on my right gets an absolute flyer, and also on the left, Carl Norfolk gets a flyer. I'm going full whack right now. I cannot go any faster than this. And then a naughty little move. Look, there's hardly a gap there. Josh Jones dive bombing me. He always says I'm not aggressive enough off the start. Tell that to my front wheel. That does not do it justice. He chopped me straight out there. But I was like, I'm not too worried here. You'll see the course is dry and super fast. This is my worst nightmare. I think I managed to just here sneak up past Carl because I'm like, I know the big boys are gunning for it today. Angus and Josh, who are in front of me, want this win, and I want this win as well. This was my last chance to take victory, and I was going all in. I just said to myself, absolutely bury yourself to go with it on the first lap. If you blow up, you blow up, but you know you've given it a good shot. So that is what I was doing. I was glued to their wheels, and this was the interesting bit of the course just here. It is borderline mountain bike now, so we descend down this little bit of single track. There was roots on the left, and you just had to hit this rut and then ping it out. So the course was like split into two halves. It was like one half was like a dry road section, the other half was like this bit of single track, bit of mountain biking, and it was hurting already. It was full gas. Look, you can see Angus getting out the saddle, shutting that gap down to Josh, and I was having to do the same. I was just like, bury yourself, make it hurt, show how much you want it. And I wanted this, and this was the tricky bit of the course just here through the single track. Round this little left-hander, round a right-hander, and then it kicks up this climb. And this little climb doesn't look like much, but it stung the legs. It was spicy up this little climb. You were just absolutely ripping it. And the worst bit for me was this bit over the top of the climb. It was like this, you can see it's like bumpy, not smooth. I hate it when you can't get into a rhythm. And this little bit of ground here made it really hard, so you've like buried yourself over that climb, and then you're just trying to dig in to go with it. But I'm there, I'm in the front group, there's three of us. I think we got a little bit of a gap, and Josh is pushing the pace. All In Racing is going all in, and so's your boy today. He was clinging on, I'm not gonna lie, I was clinging on for dear life at this point. And this sort, I'm not going to make excuses, but this sort of course does not suit me. It is dry, fast, and it is about who's got the most power. And my little twiddly legs do not have the power. I'd like to say that I give it the ponies, but I really don't have much power. Look, Josh is trying to string it out now, and you'll see an interesting bit of the course in a second. We come into the hurdles in a second, so descend down here. And you're going to see the importance of knowing how to bunny hop and how much time it can save you. So up this little kicker, down the hill, and then we're into the hurdles. So Josh has pushed on because he dismounts and runs, whereas Angus jumps, and your boy jumps as well. But I do let the wheel go a little bit here because I have never jumped hurdles during a race before. So I wanted a little bit of space to make sure I don't go arse over. Oh, but excuse that, beep beep. But you saw that there. By bunny hopping, Angus managed to go straight to the front and put a bit of a gap in. It's not much of a gap, but you can see Josh has now got to start chasing to get back on the wheel. And normally having a little bit of a gap's not too much of an issue, but on a dry, fast course like this, any gap will absolutely shell you out the back. So you need to be glued to the wheel, and there's an element of drafting that is important in this race, and you know your boy needs to be wheel sucking to hold the power that these lads have got. So you can see Josh is having to shut down that gap to Angus's wheel just there, and out of this corner he has to as well. Whereas I'm not going to say I'm getting a free ride, but I'm getting a little bit of an easier ride because I'm drafting here just to sit in the wheels. But you can see the pace has slowed a bit because Angus didn't want to be on the front either. Sneaky man wants to sit in like me. So you can see Josh has sensed that, gone straight round and took the initiative to keep pushing on. I'd love to say I could have gone round and pushed on, but honestly, I could not have gone round because I was just clinging on for dear life. We're like 5 minutes in here, and my eyes were jumping out of their sockets, and I was hanging on for dear life. This was the one muddy bit of the course, but if you stuck to the right, you could get away with missing it. Where's your boy go? Over to the left where the mud is. Absolute nightmare, and then I had to surge to get back on the wheel. But one thing you might notice is I felt like I was a lot stronger on some of the corners and could have taken some of the corners a bit faster. What I didn't have is when they were putting down the power, my legs did not have it. I was telling myself, every little dig, you know, on the first lap, everyone's going balls to the wall, trying to get that gap, trying to make it hurt. And I was just saying to myself, dig in, because at some point it's gonna ease, and when it does ease, you'll be able to recover. And it did have points where it eased, but it wasn't long enough for me. The boys were just putting the pain on me. But you could see there, I was just eager to get around that corner, and I was getting too close and actually losing speed. But so Josh has taken out the course there and had an absolute mare, and I tried to go past him here, and look, chops me off again. That camera angle does not do it justice, but he says he's not aggressive. Turns out when it's my wheel, man turns all aggressive, starts chopping me. Twice, Josh Jones. Disgraceful. And someone's going to say he didn't chop you. You've got to remember, this is a wide angle lens. So that was a chop. If you were in the moment, he's chopped me there. But anyway, Angus is back on the front. Apologies for the mud. There was like no mud, but somehow it managed to get on the GoPro screen. But we're almost through the first like lap and a half, and I'm still there. So past pits here. Obviously no pits needed today. I got a pit crew this week thanks to Rebecca and Ray, but I didn't need pits because there was no mud. And I absolutely lugged all the stuff over there. But you can see the pace has eased here a little bit. So we're getting recovery. The one worry I had every time the pace eased is, when were they going to kick again? And could I go with it? Although the pace eased as well, you don't want to let fourth place back in, because the three of us had a decent sizable gap. And I'd love to say I could have gone to the front and pressed on. But like I said, I couldn't go to the front. I was a shell of a man at 7 minutes in. So you can see Angus put a little bit of a gap in there. Yet again, Josh had to close it. That's just burning matches. I do not want to see them gaps open up. Your boy needs to be glued. But he has just pinged it straight away. I couldn't go with that. I could not close that gap. So look, I got shelled out the back and I was like, oh my God, it's over. Josh kicked out that corner, and he saw Angus sit up when he realised he had got back on. And he just went round him like a steam train, absolutely ripped it. And I was like, that's it. I'm signed, sealed, delivered, dispatched. I'm out the back, and I'm thinking, just go. Go as hard as you can. Do not give up. You know, round these few corners here, you can bridge back on. Use that mountain bike section. I was definitely stronger on the corners than these boys, but there just wasn't enough corners. There wasn't enough mud. I need mud to slow these boys down. But you can see here, I'm absolutely shelling myself to get back on. I'm just thinking, they're going to ease in a second, because that was a huge attack from the all-in racing, man. And I was like, through these corners, you can get back on. You can see round the corners, I've managed to damage limitation and close the gap. And I thought, down here, they're going to ease. If I just keep pressing on, and absolutely smash it into this rut, I'll be back on the wheel. So your man survived, just about survived the first real big attack. Obviously, we were full whack off the start. Apologies about the mud. It's going to be a bit of a longer video, this one. And I'm not going to lie, I haven't actually watched this. So I am totally one-taking this commentary and absolutely winging it right now. So I apologise about the waffle. But this is the longest I have made it to the front of the race. I am in with a chance of a win. So we are watching this and we're commentating on it the full way through. But you can see we are back on that spicy little climb now. And those boys were ripping it. Look, out the saddle. This is exactly the timing. I did not want them to rip it up this climb. They've already hurt me on that last attack on that straight section. And you can see I've let the wheel go again. You cannot let the wheel go. There was wind. There was wind from their backside probably, but also wind in my face because you needed to be in the wheel, getting that draft, and I just got back on, and what happens? I get bloody shelled again. But fear not, your boy is like a little chihuahua today, and I was not giving up. I was a pit bull, and every time they were putting in them surges and getting that little gap on me, I was saying to myself, just push on. This is your pace. Dig in, get back on, and you know at some point they're hurting as well. The pace is going to ease. And I was thinking as well, as we come into the hurdles, you know Josh is going to have to dismount again because he ain't got your techers that your boy's got, so I can make up a little bit of time there. I'm milking this hurdles thing because this is the first time I've ever jumped hurdles, so I'm feeling like Van der Poel right now, although I've been dropped, so I'm probably feeling more like wow at the moment. But here we go. I'm thinking to myself now, you've got to dig in, get as close as you can before them barriers. The boys are pressing on now, and this is getting a slightly concerning gap, but I know that if I just whack it up here, absolutely full send. Look, I'm out the saddle, just digging in with everything I've got. And a little techers. Look, there's the wife watching. She's like, that's my man, jumping the hurdles. And you can see how quickly that gap got shut down if you've got to dismount. So this is lesson learned. I am going to practice hurdles more, learn it, and I say this now, hopefully I'm going to be a hurdle beast next year. Those hurdles weren't actually that high, so my techers aren't as great as I'm making out. But you can see the difference it makes. Look, I'm giving you a little clean off there. The difference it makes being able to jump the hurdles, whereas if you have to dismount, you just lose speed, that remount and everything. But straight away here, I'm like, jump on the wheel. You can see, look how much they've eased now. And I was like, thank God for that. They've eased off the power. They're letting me catch my breath for all of 30 seconds. And as you can see, your boy's still wheel sucking. Not through choice. If I could go round and show him who was boss, I would. But I couldn't. So here we are. They've eased off the pace a bit. I don't think any of Angus or Josh wanted to take the front, to be honest, I don't know if this section was a headwind, but I think as we go around this next corner, I think it was a headwind. But all I'm thinking in my head right now is I've survived like pretty much 2 laps. This is a heroic performance. This is my best performance of the year. But I'm also thinking, when are they going to ping it again? Yet again, I go over into the mud like an absolute numpty. You've got to stay right like Angus did there. He had the skills to stay right. But I'm thinking now, this next corner, are they going to ping it? Probably, because this is where they pinged it on the last lap. Look, out the saddle, bish, bash, bosh. And I'm like, go with it, come on legs, dig in. Look, little gap opens again, little gap. And every time I'm having to rely on the cornering. Look, you can see how much space I made up on that corner there, and this is something that has massively improved for me this year through doing. We were going to the Tuesday night Chris McLeod sessions, and they were technical little corners, and it's massively helped my cornering, and I can sort of rely on sometimes shutting down gaps. Like, look at them, they're trying to decide who's going to the front. Neither of them want it, but I can get away now with letting my skills catch up a little bit. But what I need to do is work on getting some power and fitness to go with these attacks now. So in a second, they're gonna go full send again. I'm trying to think where it is. I am clinging on to the back wheel. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was surprised that I was still here at this point, because I was in an absolute world of hurt. But I knew the longer I stayed with them as well, 1, the more chance I got of winning, because I'll actually be there at the end of a race for once, and 2, it's dragging me away from the people behind. So in the league, I needed to get, look, you can see Josh is pressing on again, Angus is trying to go with it, and your man's been shelled again. I just didn't have the legs to go with these attacks, but I knew I needed a top 10. Look at me, look at my shadow. I look like a maggot of a man right now. I am absolutely shelled this time. But fear not, because there's a couple of corners and you know your boy's going to work his backside off to get back on. I needed top 10 to finish second in the league. So just here, I took a naughty little tight line which held actually decent speed, and you can see how much of a gap I shut down on them just on these 3 corners. And as I done that as well, the 2 boys sat up, and I was like, thank God for that. Now just here, as they sit up, Angus gives me a thumbs up. Now, I'm thinking that means I'm going to stop attacking you. I'm going to chill. But I make a schoolboy decision right here. I decide, rather than being a wheel sucker, I decide to go to the front. I see that the pace has slowed massively. But the thing is, I went to the front and couldn't really do anything. I was going just as fast as them going slow. So it's absolutely pointless. I should have just stayed in the wheels, because bang, Angus then attacks. I'm thinking I can't go with that. Josh needs to come round, shut that down for me, because your boy's not got the legs now. He is buried. So I'm happy for the man to dive bomb me that corner, because I know he's going to absolutely whack it to shut that gap down, and that is what I needed at that point. But the thing was, I knew it was Shell City for me right now. I was just thinking, dig in, look, they're absolutely drilling it now, and this was it. I just didn't have it to go with it just here. You can see that bumpy little surface there. I hate that surface. I'm making excuses now because I just can't get into a rhythm, but I'm thinking, yet again, you're closing down the gaps on the corners, which is good. But the thing is, there's only so many times I can do this, that I can rely on the corners, and there's only so many times I can get dropped and then shut the gap down before it is fully dispatched. And unfortunately, spoiler alert, it looks like this is going to be the moment. I didn't get a yeehaw off the wife. I didn't manage to win a Wessex League race, but look how strung out it's getting. Look at Angus just putting the hurt on. Josh is putting the hurt on, and I'm also thinking that poxy bloody climb's about to come up and my legs are about to go pop. And that is what happens, unfortunately. You can see just here, we come into the bottom of the climb and I'm digging in with everything I've got, but so those boys were just putting down the power. Absolutely phenomenal performance from them. But just here is when I got fully dispatched. I did not have the legs, and unfortunately it's going to come to, this is going to be the end of the video. I'm going to wrap it up there. I got dropped, didn't have the legs to go with it. I spent the next 40 minutes in no man's land. I tried my best to shut it down, but I just didn't have the power required on this fast, flat course. I gave it my all. I hopped the hurdles. That's heroic in my eyes. I ended up coming over the line in 3rd place. Angus got the win. Josh got 2nd. I got 3rd. I think I was about 1 minute 30 down. Once they dropped me, I just kept going backwards and backwards. But what a brutal race. What a mega season. The Wessex League's been wicked. I hope you enjoyed this, and I gave it my best, but didn't quite have it in the end.